Welcome back. This is probably more like 2.5 minutes with Alan, if I had to guess. The title of this is Showstoppers. I've seen 4 instances of showstoppers in the hundreds of Broadway plays and off-Broadway plays my wife and I have seen. Now, to me, a showstopper is something that stops the show in the middle. It's not obligatory applause. It's not the standing ovations you see at the end of every play, every speech. I call them tepid standing ovations. No. This stops the show. So, for example, in the revisit of Man of La Mancha with Brian Stokes Mitchell, he walks out to sing The Impossible Dream. Now, my wife and I saw the original with Richard Kiley. That's how old we are. And I'm saying this is either going to be a caricature or it better be great. Brought down the house. He walked out there, sang a song everybody knew, was a famous song, and brought down the house. The place stopped. The place stopped. A second instance of this was South Pacific, a well-known play where Paulo Zott, playing the planter, walks out at the beginning of the second act, and the stage actually moves back and reveals a 36-person orchestra, which is outrageous for Broadway. This was up at the Vivian Beaumont Theater in Columbus Circle. The people going to the Vivian Beaumont cost $250,000 to get on the board, as I last recall. These are seasoned theater goers. So the stage rolls back, Paulo Zott comes out, and instead of singing Some Enchanted Evening, he sings This Nearly Was Mine, and stops the show. Grown women weeping. A brief digression. A couple of months later, we got to see him in the Cafe Carlyle, which is a very intimate showroom in the Carlyle Hotel. And Paulo Zott, instead of walking up to the small bandstand, he walked from the bar up through the tables. And my wife said to me, "Why do you have that strange look in your eye?" I said, "I just realized I'm probably bisexual." Number 3. Showstopper, Sean Hayes. Just about 2-3 weeks ago, we saw Goodnight Oscar, which is about Oscar Levant, the great wit but addict and mentally harmed person, I should say, but a great wit, played by Sean Hayes. And Sean Hayes, like Oscar Levant, is a gifted pianist. And an hour and 20 into this play, which had no intermission, he played the entire score of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, which was astounding, brought the house down. And finally, I'll tell you something really crazy. Many years ago, we saw Raquel Welch in a play called Woman of the Year. And she was on stage with another woman, and Raquel was in all of her glory. She was a beautiful, sexy woman. And this other woman had curlers in her hair, and she was a small, short woman. I don't know if it's Pat Carroll, I forget her name. But they sang a song, and the little woman was saying, well, Raquel Welch had it all. And Raquel Welch said, no, you can make a pot roast. And she says, anybody can make a pot roast. What's a pot roast? Brought down the house. And the director, the producers, whomever, actually built it an encore after they realized after the first couple of shows what was happening. I tell you about showstoppers because I had one. I was speaking in Australia. I've been to Australia 19 times. And on this occasion, I was on a speaking tour in Sydney. And Australian audiences generally do not give standing ovations. I say that with respect. They're not easily on their feet. They're respectful and they're enthusiastic, but that's not what they do like we do here in America. But at the end of this particular speech, I talked about the fact that I felt an affinity with the Australians because my father was a paratrooper in World War II. He was shipped to Australia in the first parachute regiment ever formed in the United States, all volunteers. My father said he thought it was a good idea at the time. And he jumped into Lae, New Guinea, into enemy guns, and a lot of his unit was wiped out to protect Australia against invasion from the Japanese. And when I finished thereafter, they got to their feet and they applauded, and I walked off stage, and they still applauded, and I walked back on stage, and they applauded. I walked off stage a second time, and they were still applauding. I came back, and while they were still applauding, I walked off stage, collected my wife, who we walked out of the building. I was a wreck. I couldn't say anything. And it was one of the most remarkable moments of my life. May you all engage sometime in a showstopper.